It is 6 o'clock.
Only one out there, my cell phone.
Okay.
It's not.
Donna, we are good. It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. They're mine.
Okay, bring the meeting to order, Thursday, February 13th, Parks and Rec Commission. And we have attendance, all our commissioners are here. I want to welcome Aaron Beesworth and Jay who have joined us, taking the place of our other two commissioners that resigned, so thank you for coming. Woo, glad to see you. All right, and with that, we're gonna open up with audience citizens, and Ted Johnson and Elaine Matuis. Ted is a consultant that the Kensington Garden Club uses, and Elaine is the president of the Kensington Garden Club. So with that, we'll turn it over to you. It's the planting proposal that you have in your packet, right?
Okay, I am just gonna walk through this proposal. There have been some minor changes. Not big, but insignificant, certainly from the dollar. Anyway, our objective was, when the original design I did that I discussed with the group a few years ago included many flowering plants, and there was a great deal of concern about minimizing pollinator interaction with children and parents at the Little People's Park. So I have redone that, and the only flowers that are in this now are very early in the year. They are, because it's so early in the year, there are very few bees available out at that point in time anyway. We wanted to provide interest instead of through flowers with leaf color and shape. We wanted to ensure that we put in or encourage the use of plants that minimize maintenance. The shrubs we propose sourced locally at Pride's Corner. They're 1 to 3 gallon size. The grasses, which are the other predominant plants now in this proposal, are from outside the state. They can mostly come from one supplier that is in North Carolina. They're in the size of what are called landscape plugs, which are generally about 2 inches in diameter, 5 inches deep, and they can be planted with a trowel, which will minimize labor costs. You won't have to have somebody out digging with a shovel. Okay, except for the shrubs, the rest of the plants can be done quite simply. And we're looking at approximately 130 plants in total. And my estimate, assuming that my proposal doesn't change, is that if the town were to buy the plants either from Pride's or to set up account with a wholesale supplier in North Carolina, it's going to be about $1,000 for all the plants. I am not involved. I am not a member of the garden club, and I have no sense at all of who will do the installation. I don't know whether they're employees of the town that would do it, or the garden club would do it. That's something that we aren't involved with. I'm a 2-person company, and I'm going to be 72 in a few weeks, and my business partner is going to be 64 tomorrow. And both of us are beyond the stage where we're putting in large numbers of plants.
I think Elaine's gonna speak to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The plant list, just to go over it quickly. One of the early flowering shrubs is called beach plum. And it's 2 plants of those, then what are called black chokeberries. We propose using very low, what are called ground hug. That's the trade name. 6 plants of those, and then bearberries, which 15 plants. The numbers, by the way, may have changed from what you have on your list a little bit. So because one of the members of the club requested a change in one of the plants I had put in, and that's fine. Anyway, bearberries, 15, a large maple leaf viburnum, or not large, actually a compact one, but it's still 5 to 6 feet. And then what are called inkberries, they're evergreen. And then the grasses to fill in between the shrubs are little blue stem. And there are different varieties, so you can actually vary the varieties and have different colors, because some are tend toward purple, some tend towards blue, some tend toward green. It's actually really nice. It gives you variety of color and does it with the grass. Pink muley grass, I'm sure you folks have all seen those. In the late summer, the stems become pink, bright pink, and they're really quite stunning. And then finally, prairie dropseed, which is a soft, billowy grass, about 8 to 12 inches tall, that is used pretty much in this context as a ground cover. The overall plan, I know it looks crazy, but it's just there for your own, because it's there. The 3D view provides you with a little bit of a sense of what it would look like along that fence. And the shrubs most of those are the size that we would install. And the fill-in plants, they're hard to see, but basically there's probably 100 landscape plugs that fill in. Very quickly, just going through the more detailed pages on each. I'm not going to talk about all the plants we've proposed are native to Connecticut. We felt that was important. Beach plum is a beautiful, I have one in my front yard. It's absolutely extraordinary in April, early April. It's one of the earliest flowering shrubs, and it's really spectacular. Chokeberry is very much the same. It's again in April. This is a low one, so it stays, it's manageable. It doesn't require lots of maintenance. Bearberries are very low. They're 6 to 8 inches, and they have almost completely invisible flowers, but they produce nice berries. The birds absolutely love them. The viburnum is, I'm sure you've seen viburnums around. It's a lace cap style of viburnum, and flowers in May, but it's actually not a big pollinator attractor. It's not visited heavily by bees. Inkberries, again, are almost, the flowers are nondescript. And the other thing is, you never know whether you're getting a male or a female to have berries. You need a male and a female. I don't think prides can tell you what they have. Maybe now they do, but in the past, they didn't even know. So the little blue stem, this is one of the varieties that tends toward being purple. Again, there are a variety of colors that their foliage turns in the late summer, fall, and they really are spectacular. And then finally, the pink muley grass gives you an idea how spectacular that can be. That's usually a couple feet tall. And then finally, the prairie dropseed, which is very nondescript, except it's actually a beautiful grass that's very billowy and soft and presents very well as a ground cover. So I don't mean to rush through it, but I don't think there's a lot of further description necessary. I'll answer any questions you have about the plants. I will defer to Elaine to talk more about installation and those kind of things. I mean, the details of how to install, I can tell you, but who's going to do it? I can't. But anyway, thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the commission for installing the little people's playground. It's absolutely lovely. My grandkids absolutely adore it, love to play there all the time. And this has been on the Kensington Garden Club's radar for like a couple of years. We've asked Steve, when is this gonna get done? And now it's finally there. So we selected Ted because he has a background in also doing other playgrounds for like Weathersfield and some other surrounding towns. So he has a really good background on how to do that.
the Kensington Garden Club is prepared.
We have allotted up to $5,000 for this project, so if it goes over, you know, what the expenses are, because he said the proposal for the. Plants did not include shipping, so that would be an additional
Definitely.
cost probably.
Yeah, and shipping is not getting cheaper.
No, and prices haven't always
No,
stayed
and
the same lately, so it.
that's
you know,
based on late last year pricing. We have seen prices already increase on some plants. I think sort of monitoring it. I haven't seen big changes in the plants we have in this proposal. That doesn't mean things won't change.
So we have extra, my point is, we have, you know, the funds to pay for it. And we also will take care of the maintenance, the installation and the maintenance and the watering for the plants. Because in the first, you know, few years, at least 3 years, we figured they'll need. No,
No.
okay, maybe not.
Most of these plants, once they're established, anywhere from 1.5 to 3 months. And that's
Oh, wow.
part of
So
the
it's a good
reason
time.
I propose these plants is because once they become established, they require very little watering and no fertilization of it.
So that'll be, we'll, go by Ted's guidance as to what the plants actually need, because we don't want to lose them. I don't know, can we mulch there also?
Yeah, but again, that's not included in my pricing,
Right, so,
but
you know,
the
that-
mulching, again, it's actually for anybody's garden, it's a huge disadvantage to mulch more than an inch. When the plants are put in, and it's actually longer term because of the plant density we're proposing here, the amount of mulch you will need to put down is going to be really minimized. You might want to put maybe another inch a year later along the edge of the bed, so there's some nice appearance on the bed. But actually between the plants, as they grow together, it is not going to be an issue.
Yeah, they'll take them.
The plants grow so densely, the proposal I have, they will be very close together. They will grow. It will become so dense that weeds can't compete,
That's what we're.
except at the edges. Yeah,
And there is, thank you so much to Steve for all his work on helping us establish the dirt for the beds. And there is an edging there which will prevent the overgrowth. So.
and also
appreciate
for
all
the
that.
grass from getting in,
Right.
which is, turf grass is actually the enemy of most flower beds, so that will help.
But we will set up committees that will, you know, oversee it and take care of whatever is required. You know, make sure the beds get established and will thrive.
So after these plants all, you know, grow into each other, right? Is there a certain pruning that has to be done periodically?
The only pruning that needs to be done will be with the shrubs. And most of the ones I put in this proposal, actually, all of them are under about 5 feet. In fact, most of them are under 3 feet. So what that means is, the only pruning that might need to be done is if, let's say this time of year, someone patrols the garden beds, looks at the shrubs, sees crossing branches and damaged branches and things like that, then they will want to clean those out. And perhaps occasionally, if you get a sprite who wants to grow a little bit taller, because no plant's perfect, yes, you will want to prune, but again, the plants we propose will minimize the amount of that work too.
And the garden club's ready to do that when it's approved.
Whatever it is about.
How long?
As long as it's there.
As long as we're here, I guess, you know, once we take on a project there, we have a number of different projects, you know, around town that we tend to. So,
So we could expect that from the garden club 10 years, 15 years down the road.
As long as.
Or in the garden club that even exists.
yes,
The whole goal and any donation that we take in, you really want to minimize maintenance. Yeah, you know, and you understand, especially lately in the town, right? We can't add people. And so but we're always adding plants, or we're adding land, and takes its toll on the staff and things like that. So we try and minimize it as best we can and offload, and that's why it's important to understand that everybody's clear on that.
Well, the shrubs and the clumping grasses that we have in this proposal will really minimize a great deal of the maintenance that's required long-term.
So is the intent to have everything go together? Because some of these are invasive, right?
No, none of these are invasive. They're all native plants and they are all, the grasses and the shrubs are all clumping plants. So they're not the kind of, they're not like turf grass that wants to grow with rhizomes under the soil.
Are any of the berries poisonous?
No.
The berries are.
Oh, it may be fair. I hadn't
Yeah,
thought of that.
for people and for dogs. Okay, all right. And also the peach plums, while they're edible, the pits have, can't remember the exact name, but it's like cyanide. Somebody would have.
Well, that's true of every peach and everything you buy in the store as well.
That's fine, but I'm just saying. I did a little bit of research. I know nothing about this, right? But everything, all the research I did today, just looked at it very quickly. We have stuff on the laptop. But they said that all the plants, even the grass plants, attract bees. In fact, a couple of them, bees use, the queen bee in one case, I don't remember which it was, puts their home in the base of them, right? But so all the plants are attracting bees, and they're attracting them when they flower, whatever that is, in the spring and or the fall, because some of them do it in the fall. My concern again is this. Let me take a step back. You guys did a great job. This is a beautiful proposal. Beautiful. My concern is the kids. I just don't want them to get stung.
Well, I understand, and there are two answers to that. One is there is no, the confusion comes not from bees per se. The confusion comes because people group wasps and hornets in with bees, and even honeybees, which are have colonies. Essentially, all native bees are solitary bees. When we work in the fall, we often encounter bumblebees, sweat bees, and other bees that are in flowers that, because it's gotten cold, they go into a torpor overnight right in a flower. And my partner and I will take them out and warm them up in our hands and let them go. They're non-aggressive. They don't care about people. It's not like hornets and wasps. I mean, I would not get near a white-faced hornet's nest under any circumstances. In fact, you can be 30 or 40 feet away and get stung by them if they just don't want you there. So I understand your concern. I think that in most cases, these plants are going to be attracting either honeybees or native bees at the very least. And they are not, unless someone steps on them in bare feet, which is possible. I understand that's possible. And it's unlikely that any native bee that populates these plants is going to sting. And then the other option, I don't care. I don't own this proposal. This is something I've done because I wanted to help these folks. You can put in turf grass. Believe me, I have no, if you are uncomfortable with having the possibility of any bees in the proximity of that area, I understand. I'm totally cool if you just want to put grass right up to the edge. It's all right with me. I don't care. I'm trying to respond the best I can to their request. And I understand your concerns. And as far as I'm concerned, if it truly is a concern, and you feel strongly enough about it, then put in turf grass right to the edge of the fence. It's okay.
And you could have just as many bees in the turf grass as you will in these,
because it flowers too.
Right.
And you do have a fence that separates it.
Well,
I think
the fence, I think the fence.
Those are the bees.
And I think this is a
proposal, like it'll add a lot of visual stimuli for the kids, also like the attraction with birds, you know, that's like something that kids love to see. Certainly, those are like assets that it would bring to the space.
Well, the other thing is, you know, instead of being, this is my opinion, instead of saying, oh boy, we gotta be careful, there's a potential for bees to be here that might sting kids, is to put signs up and use it as an educational opportunity. The number of bees that are gonna be attracted to the grasses and these plants early in the year are really quite small. But I look at it like an opportunity to turn that around and say, well, let's actually teach from it. So that's my opinion, that again, but I don't own this. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, you are more than welcome to do whatever you feel is in the best interest of the citizens of the town, and that's fine. I get it.
Just follow up on, so it's the bearberry
Inkberry.
that you said is
Inkberry.
poisonous?
Yeah, it is. You would have to eat a lot of inkberry. Birds consume them. It's not poisonous to them. And actually some mammals do. And like I say, we have put in inkberries for years, and I've yet to see one produce berries because, to be honest with you, I don't think in most cases there's a male and a female ever planted together. So,
That's what I was gonna ask, you need.
and if you're concerned and
Like a
Price
holler.
can guarantee to you that these are all males or these are all females, then that's the proposal I would make. Because, you know, at the very least, if it's a female, you're gonna get flowers of one type, and the male will have flowers of a different type. And, you know, and that's the opportunity you have to minimize the chance of any kids interacting with berries.
I think that's a good idea.
I think they can tell you now, for a while, well, we have asked them to have two different sexes. That, you know, they're dioecious plants, and in order to have, because people wanted berries on them.
Yes, yeah.
And we have yet to see that happen with any plants we put in, and it's 10 years we've been doing this, so.
So is there a chance, like we did, beach plum? When the plums, say, fall to the ground and get rotten, do they attract wasps or bees?
They might, that's true of, you know, I think you have a crab apple over by there, and I'm sure the same thing happened. Yes, absolutely, no question.
Yeah, I know other spaces are doing sensory gardens with, you know, with flowering kind of flowers and bushes and whatnot, like Woodland Park has one in Manchester, and that's a very popular attraction for people. So I'm just wondering, like, if other places are finding it advantageous to install them, like, you know, I don't mind reaching out to some places and getting some feedback about like how many stings are being reported to you or whatever, you know, trying to see, because other people, schools even are putting them in at times. Like my own school was gonna do their own courtyard, just thought it was worthwhile, the nurse was all about it. We thought if we had the right flowers, you know, we have the balance. Some people look for the balance of what does it bring and the health concerns.
Well, the other side of it is, let's look at it of the bigger picture. If you have a picnic on, or a cookout on Labor Day, and you don't have yellow jackets around the food on your table, then guess what? You aren't putting out good food. And you know, how many kids are outside at those parties? And again, it's not to say that it couldn't happen. I guarantee there are times at parties like that on Labor Day where kids get stung. Can I guarantee to you that a kid will never get stung? No, I can. I can't think of a plant or a condition where that can ever happen. Yellow jackets like to nest in the ground. If there's loose soil near that playground and a kid wanders out near a yellow jacket's nest, believe me, I've been stung by yellow jackets working in gardens. So it happens. I'm not, again.
The work that you've done for other towns, like Weathersfield, you mentioned, have you had any feedback, like there's been problems or?
No.
And similar types of plants proposals? like
Yes,
maybe-
exactly. And Glastonbury too, and we did one at the Rotary Fields, and those were actually flowering plants, and we never heard them. So again, I understand it's always possible. I cannot, I'm not an actuary. I can't tell you the percentage possibility of something like that happening. It's more than zero. I don't know what percentage. I just don't.
Just a clarification, shipping delivery charge that we have is about $250. Does that sound reasonable?
That
We
sounds.
can't be perfect, we know prices could go up, but we say approximately.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable.
Just that the town always has to value the donations.
I understand.
So-
Well, I would make it, higher than that, just to cover any increased cost or.
I was also
whatever.
thinking we should raise the 1,000 if you're gonna mulch too.
Yeah.
But that didn't.
Yeah,
include
the mulch is.
that. I would rather bump them up.
If-
So maybe 1,500.
Yeah.
Just
Would
say,
that,
without,
Yeah.
do you think that would be enough? Or do we
I
need
would
more?
think so unless there's some
We could
crazy
make it
changes in
1,000 if
pricing.
we're saying approximately 1,500, we don't have to.
If it's
really
more,
put
we,
detail.
we'll be willing to pay if it's more.
And if I can make a recommendation about mulch. The folks down here at Stonehenge, I don't know whether you have an account with them, but they sell a mulch called Sweet Peat. It's sweet and the peat is spelled P-E-E-T. And it's a composted mulch. And it's small, the particle sizes are very small. And there are several advantages. One is it becomes soil relatively quickly, helps feed the soil. But also, a lot of bark mulches, if a kid is running along with bark mulch and happens to fall, I'm sure if you've handled bark mulches, you know that you can occasionally get a spine or something like that, or it can cause a scratch. Again, to minimize, it might be a recommended. It's more expensive, that I will tell you. So, but again, you aren't going to use a lot. If you figure an inch on the size of this bed, I didn't think about the actual final square foot, but it's not a.
That's fine. We have enough information.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll just raise the amount when we vote on it later.
Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? That's great, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Should we stay to see?
You can
I'll be-
stay, we just have to do the approval of minutes, election of officers, and then we'll get to the consent agenda and you're.
I can email Carol tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, or, yeah,
Yeah.
Jen can certainly let you know and,
We appreciate that.
And if there, I'm always, Jen knows how to get in touch with me, so if there's any other questions, I'll be glad to try and answer.
okay. Well, we really do appreciate.
Ted,
do have a
can
lot
you
of
email me your
volunteers in this
updated
town.
one?
And we're very thankful for the Kensington Garden
Sure.
for what you do around the town. And, we're glad to see, this come together as soon as everything will work out.
It works for quite a few years, and just regarding the sensory garden, I know Chris Edge is trying to work on a sensory garden where the VFW is, so. It's a good one.
Great.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Guys.
it.
Thank you very much for all you do.
Okay, any other audience or citizens? Not online, not here. Okay, closed audience citizens. Approval of minutes, January 9th.
Motion to approve the minutes from January 9th.
Second.
Who seconded?
Christine,
Greg?
right, thank you. Any discussion? Obviously Karen and Jay will ask you not to vote.
They'll abstain, so they will
Yeah,
vote.
they'll-
They'll
okay.
abstain.
Any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you. 1, 2. Are we missing? Oh, look.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lucas.
4, 0.
Yeah, no food tonight.
All right. Okay, election of chairperson. So the election of chairperson and vice chair is open. Just so everybody is aware, Karen, Jay, I've been chair for a number of years. And I mentioned last year, but I think it's important to give other people and more involved, be chair or whatever, and so I was gonna step down this year, and that's what I intend to do, the other commission. But, that being said, Lucas is not here. But just sitting here, is there anyone that would like to be considered for the position of chairperson? Okay, I will tell you that Lucas sent a letter or email to Jen, because he cannot be here, and she had checked with the town clerk, asking to be nominated and considered for chairperson. So, that being said, I would like to nominate Ms. Van Zant for chairperson of Parks and Rec for the upcoming meeting.
I'll second. Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Who make me cooks?
Anybody opposed? Okay, no. Okay, Lucas, good luck.
Expect blueberry muffins next meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping the meetings late, don't. I was like, wanting to.
No, that's fine, my pleasure, but, okay, we also have the position of vice chair that is open. And again, anyone is welcome to put their name in or to be nominated. And if there's anyone interested, other than one person that I know, I'd like to nominate Tony here, for vice chair.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Good luck. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we got Lucas and Tony, and I guess it's official for the next meeting. Okay. So with that, we'll handle the consent agenda. I'm gonna leave item D, and we do have another consent agenda item that will be added, but we'll leave that separate. Right now, we have items A, B, and C. In your packet, you have the Berlin Boosters, Little League request. And, obviously the volunteer fire department, which we've approved in the past. So what I'd like, before we can start discussion, is a motion to accept consent agenda items A, B, and C.
I'll make a motion. Do we accept consent agenda items A, B, and C?
And second, okay, Tony seconds. Any discussion, now we can open up any discussion, questions. I know Tony, thank you for picking up that.
New commissioners, if you guys have any
It's correct.
questions about anything, there's certain things that come to us annually. And our habit is to just go through them. If you guys ever have a question, don't be afraid to ask.
Boosters are, the dates are correct,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think are we doing, yeah, because Steve and I talked and we really want to make sure that they're not up. I mean, Tony was out there, a couple weeks ago, taking down the banners from the fall season.
Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid that in the past, so that's something that'll go in my email tomorrow to the boosters and CC the athletic director that they are taken down, by the certain dates that we have, as long as you guys are all okay with that.
Did you get the key issue corrected? I guess they came to you or your office for a key,
Ally gave them, Ally gave them a key, I think.
wrong key. You didn't know.
Oh, I missed all that. I was out when they came in. I never even knew they came in.
So when I told her when she brought it back, to tell you guys that the key didn't work with the lock.
I'll ask Ally. Cause I don't even remember.
I still had my secret key.
Right. Yes, we were aware of that.
Telling us that.
That Boston's not helpful to me.
Hey, Tony. What key for what?
Okay, no, it's not relevant. Let's move on.
Okay, so, so the banners, these are all the Little League banners that are held on the fences. All banners have to face in towards the field, just so you know, we have some other restrictions, but, like Boosters sends in pictures because I've had these done for a number of years. With that, any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, Jen, is there gonna be an end date for everybody to take the signs down?
That's what we were just talking
I mean,
about.
it was the high school, I'm talking about week two.
Yeah, I can we can either add that to the motion or I can just put it into the email. Cause Little League keeps them up April to November, so they wouldn't take theirs down until we could use the same date. We could say December 15th for Little League as well. That's a fair date.
Yeah, we have a general range or something in our policy too, so. Okay, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion on the floor to accept items A, B, and C of the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, that passes. Okay, Kensington Garden Club, item D. So can I have someone make a motion, and we're just gonna change approximately, make it 1,500 to be planted alongside Little People's rather than D2, right? Right? All right, Tony.
Make a motion to accept consent agenda item B. To request from public donation, the Kensington Garden Club of 130 plants valued at approximately $1,500. With shipping and delivery, planted alongside Little People's Playground.
Second by Karen. Okay, any discussion, you know, from what you heard, any other questions?
Do you have any
concerns? Steve
input
is
on
here.
that?
I'm good with it, just we have to understand that if complaints do come, we might have to have them remove some of the bushes. But I think we should be very transparent that we had a lot of complaints last year with the ground bees that'll be back this March. They'll land in the same exact spot, they will keep growing, because once they come to one area, they keep coming back on an every year basis. We have that at a couple other locations, so we probably received a half a dozen phone calls within a couple of days. So we need to be very cognizant these phone calls are going to come. And it kind of falls on our department when we have to answer that. We can't find an exterminator to go out and kill pollinators, they just won't do it. So that's been our stance, so encouraging them, we also don't want. So if there's a way we can minimize the pollinator bees from coming, we should try that as well. Because a lot of the times it's parents with kids who have allergies, who see the bee, even though the bee is nowhere near them, they freak out and he's correct with when he talks about hornets and yellow jackets, they're attracted to the sweets and that kind of stuff, but the pollinators are attracted to the pollen. So we just have to be very cognizant of how we're going to answer the questions from the public and the residents when it comes to us. So like, hey, this design was created by this company, this is why they did it. I guarantee it's going to be healthy, but if we get a bunch of complaints, we're going to have to remove some of them. Unfortunately, Kensington Garden Club is going to invest a lot of time and money and materials into making that.
I was gonna say, is there anything you put up, like, so you're not held liable for? You know, if a kid goes in anaphylactic shock and you know, like, just like, oh, be aware, there's gonna be bees, there's pollination here,
So you can't, we're creating the nuisance of that. So, yeah, just from my experience.
Even submitting trip or fall, yeah, minimize the liability, unfortunately. But that being said, and we don't necessarily have to do it now or make it part of it, but when he talked about a learning experience, right? There might be something that someone sees, you know, that's a nice sign or whatever that we could put up about.
this is a pollinator bee, you know, like, this is its job, or, you know, they're not aggressive, or, you know, could say something like that.
Something, you know, that kids could read and they learn, you know, something like that, but.
I thought we pretty much told them last time. We don't want to go anything that attracts bees.
I did watch the October 2023 meeting because I was curious, and yes, numerous commissioners spoke out.
Said, we don't want bees. And now we've got a thing that still has bees and it now has berries, which can attract birds or droppings, right? And
mice.
And if you look at the Friendship Center, Friendship Playground, all the plantings around there, they're on us, right? The town to cut them. These guys are gonna be around for 15 years.
They've been around.
Or
for-
however
Mrs.
long they
Matulis
are,
is not
yeah.
gonna be around for 15 years out there proving new things. Who's gonna do it after her? We are. Right? I mean, do
Well,
we want the
definitely the
maintenance?
town,
Do we want a maintenance issue?
right.
I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. It seems like-
I think if the garden club puts plants and doesn't maintain it anymore, Steve would come to you guys if he's even still here at that time. And I think you guys would support him just taking it out and just having mulch there. I mean, so it's not an additional maintenance.
Yeah, but I hate to have them spend $1,500 on plants and then how many hours of installing them and all that, and then us turn around and then this summer go, this ain't working out, we go in there with a backhoe, rip the whole thing out. What do we do? Return it to them?
So
We go.
part of one of my suggestion was, I think. If we vote to move forward with this, is I think we should have a sign as you're walking into it says donated, and maintained by the Pennsylvania Garden Club. So any patron that goes there knows that they're the ones who came forward with this, and this is their project. And I think that also will minimize some of the. I'd like to say that the grounds department won't inherit any part of this, but like most projects, we're going to inherit something.
It's yours.
Put their
How-
phone number under it.
What?
Put their phone number under it.
How much we don't. Also, the average garden lasts somewhere between 3 to 7 years before it needs to be replaced again. If you look at the front of town hall, where we redid the whole entire front of town hall with all different shrubs and bushes. Those are now 5 or 7 years old and they're becoming overgrown. The oak leaf
that's-
hydrangeas are becoming to the point where they're unmanageable and it's time to remove them. So I think we know that we're gonna inherit this and we're gonna have it for the next 5 to 7 years until it grows to the point where it's unmanageable. Because all bushes, plants, trees, whatever it is, they're meant to grow, So I think. I'm definitely in favor on the grounds department of giving it a shot, just understanding that there might be things that need to be removed. If somebody eats a peach and ends up with cyanide poisoning, Greg Star is there.
No, I'd be more concerned for the animals and the ink bearers, because those are both poisonous to humans and dogs. Kills dogs.
I didn't think about the bird droppings until you mentioned it. I didn't even think about
And
that.
the spines on the leaves have like prickers on them. So kids can, if they go to reach for something, will get, they said, listen, I was on the internet for
So-
internet.
So would you be okay with them, them taking that plant out?
Well, I just think that you need it. This is,
No, I,
see,
you're
I,
saying it's poison, we gotta act
yeah,
on it. We can't-
I want it. I don't think you should have it. That's my opinion.
Okay, so that's,
I mean,
that's fine.
I mean, we didn't go out and look on the internet and see what somebody, I mean, it was just a quick thing, but. all
Yeah, I
the-
saw the inquiry too, that was like, checked them quick too.
Yeah.
I actually Googled once you said that and I read. the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, so that's fair, so again,
Yeah.
that's what we're here for, so that's one that you.
But the other things too, they said they all, any flowering, even their grasses. Flower,
Everything.
everything flowers, and that attracts bees. Everything that is in this proposal attracts bees. All right, including some of the grasses where a queen bee, I don't know which one is, makes her home at the base of it. Right, because it's protected over the winter. And then they said some stuff about other stuff, but I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff there. It's our responsibility to put something in that is, I mean, if they put it somewhere on a field somewhere, but you got little kids running around, right? And they can pick up any one of these things. I don't care how good a parent is. You got 3 kids, they're going to 3 different.
Right, outside the fence.
Yeah, I mean,
Or through the fence.
Yeah.
So the beerberry, what it did say is, it won't produce
The ink bear.
berries if you have all males or all females,
Yes.
and that's what they're going after. So, but do we want to remove that? Or at least as part of the motion, do you want to remove beerberries, or you want to say, you need one species, males or females, so that the berries do not get produced.
So so if they're only males or females, they still
There's no
don't.
way to
You
know.
need, so
They
we
don't
need
know.
both.
No.
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he even said himself, he's not even sure they can guarantee
Well,
it.
he said at first.
To be safe, just take the ink berries out.
So.
It's gotta be at inception.
Right,
Who's gonna know that?
like
No,
it's like a
who's
holly
gonna be
bush.
watching those plants?
You need the male and female to get berries on the holly, or the hollies. But in any event, so should we just remove the beer?
Ink bear.
Beer.
And I think that would make sense, I mean, I'm not really a gardener, but like, there are other evergreens that probably would be comparable, like, I don't know, like a small boxwood, you know what I mean, like
Right.
something.
Yeah.
That would give you the same look.
Or they'll just do more of the ones we do approve.
Yeah.
Even like
We
the
can do that.
grasses, like they don't all flower, like this one doesn't, that one doesn't flower, right? No, so like they need to put more of those and less of the ones that do flower, I mean, I know it's nice to have different colors and all that, but if it helps alleviate Or flowers, I don't know.
So is that the berry drop seed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, this is attracts bees, nectar-rich flowers, feast for pollinators, so it does.
So,
So, all right.
so beerberry we want.
Inkberry. Inkberry.
Sorry. All right,
Four times.
and then. I mean, do we leave it to their discretion, the grasses? I mean,
Yeah, no, I guess if
As
they all
far-
flower, they all. flower.
to Tony's point about our last meeting, that meeting over at Harvard, right? We did talk about these, we were very concerned about that. At that time, they were thinking of a pollinating garden going, remember?
Yeah.
That's what they were talking.
Right, they have changed
And
it.
that's where we said absolutely, we are not, so now they've changed it, so. It's not focused on attracting, but you will attract, you're gonna get, them,
They're minimizing,
but they're minimum,
Yeah.
right? So,
they've come a long way from the pollinator.
If these guys weren't proposing this, would you guys be doing anything over there? Or you just do nothing? Mulch or,
We would just leave it the way it is. We would leave it natural.
is there a problem with the way it is?
No, it just would be a little more aesthetic pleasing, pulling up, seeing something there rather than just a black fence with a little bit of cobblestone. I mean, I think something there is going to look nice. You know, and it'll definitely make the playground popular. So I think something should go there. I just don't know how much we want. It's kind of the same as Friendship Place, when they plant the Friendship Place. I mean, you've been there and seen when it gets overgrown.
Yeah.
There's just too much. It's,
Yeah.
Volunteer Park is the same way. Volunteer Park was planted with 10,000 different plants.
Yeah.
And it just became overgrown in a matter of.
And that's them.
yes, and they did not,
And it's the same thing at the post office. If you've been
they
there
did not
lately,
maintain it,
Same deal.
they did not maintain it, it
Right.
wasn't.
But this one's gonna have a sign that says they
Grounds
do
to
maintain it.
So.
Oh,
To be maintained by the kindergarten club forever and ever.
For Tony.
They've been here many, many years. That being said, who knows,
Right.
right? Who knows how long they've been there, but
These
You
types
have
of
a commitment.
organizations,
Yeah.
Even though he
you do
said,
have a
the-
commitment that they intend and they will maintain. It's up to us to enforce
It's
that.
truly putting me out there doing it.
Maybe in
No,
5
they're not,
years,
'cause
but
he's
if
gonna
it's
come
anything
here and
less,
say, hey, it's
5
on
or
us now,
7,
and you're gonna
I
say,
think
no,
that's
you're
it.
not doing it.
you gotta,
That's
you
what's gonna
gotta,
happen.
you know, every year we should be seeing this being done, and if it's not, we gotta jump on it.
Yeah.
Get on it. I know a lot of women that are on this Kensington Garden Club, and I've talked to them about it. And I said, what is the guarantee? And I said, the guarantee is us. I mean, you know, I said, we'll be on you then, you know,
They're a
we're not.
really nice group of women.
Yeah.
They have the fairgrounds, a lot of them share their.
A lot of, yeah, a lot of, yeah, there are. But
do they have any green thumbs?
Okay, so
Just-
motion is on the table.
anyway,
What was the motion?
all right.
The motion is to request the $1,500 donation with the $250 plant their own site low people's program. So that motion needs to be voted on, and then another motion can be made to remove the inkberries, yes.
Can we take that corrected motion a step further? And correct it to say we want any type of bee attractant and berry producing plants removed from.
That's
And he
clearly
said
all.
grass is gonna attract bees. He said, and that's true. Look, I don't know about the rubber stuff. I assume that's not gonna attract.
We can
anybody,
also
but it could
think
attract
about
animals.
this, if you guys all wanna go home and do your own research on what he's specifically
How
suggesting
can you,
and vote on it in March.
Just also remember, even though we planted sod, once the dandelions come in, the dandelions are gonna trap pollinators. We
Well,
can't
yeah.
kill the dandelions that are next, we can't kill the weeds that'll be in front of that park, because it's against
There's a kids.
the state.
There are already bees there, so like when I was bringing my daughter, that like little bear, like seesaw thing, that was like bee zone or
Yep.
hornet zone or whatever, like they were all by, you know, Susan Village, the sandbox. Bees over there, so it's already an area where they've been kind of hanging out.
Which are pollinator bees, those are the
Right.
first bee that comes out in the
Right, they're
springtime.
not gonna sting, but it
Right,
doesn't
they will
matter,
not
to
do
a
it. They're
kid,
very
to a mom
docile.
with
They
a
love
kid with an
grabbing
allergy,
insects.
they're making a phone call. There's a lot of bees here, it doesn't matter if they're gonna sting or not. So that's
Alright,
another
we
option.
have the
You could
first
table
motion
it.
without any removal of anything, just the.
Yeah, let's close that motion out.
That's on the floor, we discussed it. All in favor of the motion that's on the floor, which does not remove any plan, doesn't change anything other than the amount of money, say aye. All opposed? Aye. Okay, that motion does not pass. Okay,
Before you start your second motion,
right,
one idea would be keep the plants 5 feet away from. So you'll have a 10-foot section where there'll be no plants near the gate, so I would
The
say,
entrance gate you're
Yep.
talking?
so no plants within 5 feet of the gate prior to.
of the gate.
Yeah.
I like that
Fencing
idea.
all around of the gate.
Like I said, you could table it a month. It's up to you guys. Cause yeah, on this, they do go right to the edge. So that's a good point.
Let me just talk about tabling. So the council's not gonna get this till March. We don't meet before the March meeting. If it passes tonight, right? So they need to order these things. And then they want to plant them springtime, probably in over the months. So that's, it could delay that another month. Getting into May, maybe beginning of June, so just leave that with you. So,
I'm
can
going
I,
to vote, this will remove, red murdering plants.
Tony, why don't you make a
I
motion?
agree.
And no,
and no
not with your
flower,
amendment that they'll
no
take care of
flower,
forever and
no
ever.
planting within 5 feet of the gate on either side.
Go ahead, Tony, you got it.
All right, so, I make a motion to accept the donation from the Kensington Garden Club of 130 plants valued at approximately $1,500, including shipping, to be planted alongside Little People's Playground with the following 2 stipulations. 1, no plants to be planted within 5 feet of either side of the entrance gate. And removal of the
Inkberry.
inkberry plant, not permitted.
Okay, second? Second. Christine seconds. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, all right, good- very good discussion, I think, very.
We are
good
good
question.
with the sign, right?
Yes, that, it's a similar, he's gonna have something made up to, for the donation by Kensington Garden Club.
Did you want to add, and they'll maintain it forever and ever?
Yeah.
Tony's count?
Donated and maintained.
Maintain.
Yeah.
He's got it.
And, but forever and ever though, we need forever and ever.
You know, something like
Forever,
that.
ever and ever. Straight up. Full time.
Okay,
Where are you getting that packaging?
Vital,
How much is it gonna cost?
probably $285.
And we have time to pay $30.
Dante, yeah,
Let's talk after.
with a rock. All right. Okay, we are gonna add one more item to consent agenda, which did come in on time, we just didn't get it on the agenda, so I'm gonna make the motion. We approved Berlin Little League to be able to sell food, beverages, and merchandise for the 2025 baseball softball season at the following locations: Pettit, Dennehy, and Center Road. Second,
Second.
20 seconds. Any discussion on that item? Okay, let me just go back. We need to add it to the consent agenda. That was my motion to add it.
Yes.
You seconded, thank you. It's now added. So now we're making the motion, same motion to accept. You second, thank you. And, any discussion is none? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. All right. Okay, let's consent agenda. Parks and Grounds, you have to get to your meeting?
Correct.
He's number 12 on the agenda. He can fill a few
Oh,
minutes.
Parks and Rec, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Quick. Any questions? I've given, we did have a nice picture with the Lions Club tonight for $1,000 donation. For the fishing derbies, that will be brought to the next meeting for approval. Have received several times.
You talked to me about that last year, about the money that we were like not getting, making donation, or we, not enough money to cover the cost of it.
The fish, yeah, they did not, the cost did not go up this year from last year. He held the same cost, but over the years, the cost has gone up.
Yes.
So. Yeah, the town, I've just been putting more money into the town budget to try to offset that. There's just not as many organizations in town to donate, so. Lost a couple. If anyone has any suggestions of any other groups that might be able to donate, you have to send them a letter and see. Yeah, every little bit helps.
I have a question. So I was wondering if you've got more people showing up for the open house for the dance open house? Because,
What's your question?
no, do you think that we got more people coming to the open house because it was put in Berlin?
We never
patch?
did an open house. Nothing to.
All right, did you get more people signing up?
She gets good numbers anyway.
You're
so
getting
it's-
good
All right.
numbers.
Yeah.
She's very
She
much
gets-
word of mouth and.
Yeah,
her own
she
crew.
does phenomenal promotion for her programs. So, I mean, we already had a lot of people sign up before she.
I've heard about a lot, I'm not interested if I've heard multiple people invited, so you guys are going to get it out, this is very fun.
The Elizabeth's classes, yeah, she's.
No, the
Oh,
line dancing. or whatever.
line dancing, oh, yeah, no, he was talking about the
Elizabeth's open house.
Elizabeth open house on
Right.
Saturday. And the line dancing is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing 2 classes, and people, you get new people all the time, which is fun, you know, and a lot of people that have never done programs with us, so, yeah, it's very popular, she does a good job. I entertain.
See, you
How
get
about
the,
How about the fly fishing? That,
We have
because I saw-
4 right now, so yeah, hoping that we get a few more, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting program, so.
Just like the So on the pools. The one, 2 WSIs.
Yeah,
Is that all that's come back from last year or all that you know right now?
no, that's,
That's it?
so I had last year was 2, but now one of them can't do the full boarding, it
Just
only do one
part-time.
class. Which I begged for that one class, just because having one instructor is. You can only do, the Red Cross sets limits on all the classes, you
Right.
can't do a lot of kids.
Right.
So it's hard, I mean, no. These kids don't go for their WSI anymore. One year, I remember hiring like 6 WSIs in 1 year. And, you know, we just,
These are one safety instructors. And just to let you, the new commissioners know, we actually, Debbie tried to have a Red Cross program in August, right before we closed the pool. One person signed up. I think
2, I think.
1 or 2 maybe. We couldn't have, you didn't have to have many, but we don't have an indoor pool, so that's the only time we can run. So the commission approved them putting additional monies into their budget so that we can now have someone, if they're interested in going to a Red Cross, go some other town that has an indoor pool and then ask for reimbursement. So we've done that. But you know, this is what we need. So we only have 1 outdoor pool now. And we're gonna have to, you know, hopefully, yeah.
So about the lifeguards themselves, like we have a number of people that applied that for the summer or that not.
No one's applied yet. I mean, we started advertising a couple weeks ago, so.
And are we early doing that? I mean,
No.
Oh,
it's
you're right on
about the
time,
same,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually give the returning people till like January to get back to me.
Yeah.
So a lot of the staff is returning, which is good, but we lost 3 or 4, so. I always like to have kind of higher more than what we actually need to get people in the system, to get them, you know, kind of trained. And so that when these other kids graduate and move on, then we have people, and we're not trying to hire 8 brand new staff, it just doesn't work. Doesn't work that well, so I'm hoping that we get, I know I've talked to a couple of my staff who have siblings that are going to other towns to do the library.
So that's great.
Yeah,
Hopefully they can, if they'll get reimbursed if they work for us.
and then once they work for us, we offer free training after that, so. Nice bonus.
And you guys probably do show like, you know, first, who see like times when you kids wanna, you know, what's three
we-
typically.
He does, he helps us, yeah, I mean, it's, and because actually our aquatic director, Matt Jayfield, is a coach. He helps coach the high school boys team. So he tries to get the word out and just because they swim doesn't necessarily mean they want to be a lifeguard, so. But we do try, and I think, you know, we have a lot, like I said, a lot of people returning this year, which is good, but I did lose, I think, 3 staff, so. Just keep filling that.
I have a question. So what is Steam Lego?
It's a Lego program. They take Legos and they build them into different. We actually offered a similar program quite a few years ago, I think.
My son did, often they.
Yeah, my
Way
nephew
back
did
when.
it too.
They
and-
loved it.
Yeah, and then we got away from it, but the gentleman every year contacts me and I finally said, yes, we're gonna do it. So, yeah, I mean, it's for kids that like Legos, it's actually pretty cool, some of the stuff that they build, they don't get to keep any of the stuff, but they can build, you know.
And motors and things they don't have
Yeah.
at home, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
which is
really,
very cool.
it's very cool, the
Yeah.
kids are into Legos.
Okay, any other questions, Debbie? All right. Parks and Grounds, okay, Steve.
Perfect, just in a rush to get upstairs and enjoy that meeting. So I kind of put a welcoming letter together for everybody, kind of explain what our department is about. We are not connected at all with Park and Recreation. We work for the Department of Public Works, through Micah Hearn. So that makes us a little different from other surrounding towns. We do manage everything outside of every building that is in town. So it falls from the Board of Education to the firehouses, 7H cemeteries, and a plethora of other things. So our focus is not just athletic fields, we have everything. So if there's any question you guys might have moving down the road, please bring it to my attention. Like I joked about earlier, we have the Tony files, where Tony was always asking like, hey, what are you guys doing? What's new? So this way we can bring something new and different every month to the meeting of kind of where we're at. So any questions, please throw it that way. Allie is my part-time administrative assistant, who pretty much has now held down the fort for the last couple of months while we've been plowing snow left and right. So kind of the first question that I think everybody has seen on Facebook is clearing of ponds for skating. So we've never had a formal policy. We've had no clue where the policy came from. So over the next several months, you're going to be writing skating policy. We have no clue where the measurement of ice of how thick the ice had to be for. So now we are going to utilize the DEP's regulations, rules and regulations on how thick the ice needs to be before we can open it up. The policy will probably read something along the lines of, we will check the ice every single day of the week until it reaches the depth or the thickness that is allowed by the DEP for skating to open it up. Once it is opened, we will not recheck the ice until there's a reason to check it. If we have rain, if we have snow, or what gives us a reason. Problem being is if we're not consistently checking it every day, what happens if something happens on a day that we didn't get there? So we think that we need some type of standardization when it comes to our ice policy, which we will work on and probably bring back to you guys probably September, October for the next season. Willard School asked us to build 8 new picnic tables, and they wanted them in their school colors. So we built 8 new picnic tables, put them out there. The school is extremely happy. We've had a lot of complaints throughout the years about the sight lines coming in and out of Pistol Creek. So where we keep the portage on and we walk across, we've now cut that back far enough. We think that the sight lines are opened, that as a family is coming across with a stroller, now it's more visible. We've got some great comments on that. Last year was brought to our attention that the diving platforms, we do everything at all. We do the chemicals, the cleanings, the paintings, All of it's done by the grounds department, diving boards inspections, so. They brought up that the diving platforms needed to be repaired, We brought them in over the last couple of weeks, scraped all the old anti-skid material off of them, put them up, so those are good to go. So as of right now, we think we have all the chemicals, the paint and everything open. And or everything ordered and ready to go for first order. That pretty much concludes that. Now we go to our checklist. So we've all been aware of the amount of use that Soccer West has gotten over the last couple of years and how it's becoming almost impossible to get grass to continue to grow there. And we've had more and more use happening with Sage Auxiliary. So we went out, we bought 2 growing mats. So if you go out to Sage Auxiliary on the North Pole and the South Pole, there are 50 by 50 squares that look like plastic. It's a breathable material where the sun bakes down into the ground, warms the surface up, grass starts to grow and germinate. And the air, the oxygen can release. So what I would ask from you guys, if you agree, is I would like to make sure that we can keep Sage Auxiliary and Soccer West closed so we can see if this is a process we should move forward. Yes, the mats were $900 a piece, but if we're gonna have the mouth of the soccer goal, the mouth of the lacrosse goal, growing grass and all filled in every year. I think keeping our fields a little closed a little longer and investing into them with growing mats might be the way. Probably took the guys half an hour, 45 minutes to go.
Soccer West is by the high school.
Soccer West is by
High
the
school.
high school, yeah.
When do you want to keep them closed until?
April 1st. Like use that as a deadline. We have a rule that says, or a bylaw that we don't open the fields prior to April 1st unless it's authorized by Jen and myself. But we really need to do something to preserve. We've been working with the high school to get ultimate frisbee off of there and move them to somewhere else.
What they use for scouting?
No, because track's practicing the same time as Ultimate Frisbee.
We're trying it.
They're gonna use the grass field next to the stadium.
So for us, you want our support
Yes,
to
please.
close, yeah.
Yep.
Do you need a vote? Oh,
We don't need a vote
No,
because it's, we don't need a vote because it's already a policy that our grass fields do not open for till April 1st unless we grant permission, so.
You know, we have 2 synthetic turf fields.
Right.
Youthful sports don't start till April. I think the high school between both turf fields can come up with a plan that works.
We actually already told the AD that he couldn't use Sage Auxiliary till April 1st and Soccer West, and he was receptive of that, so. Not concerned.
You say closed, like, do you put a chain and a sign there?
No, but we keep the goals locked up.
Yes, you keep there,
No,
Keep
keep
the
the
goals
goals
locked
locked up, you know, anybody knows.
so anybody's gonna go on there.
Correct.
And if you see people.
The cameras do a great job of picking up Sage Auxiliary, so if somebody is on Sage Auxiliary or somebody's on Soccer West. John Schmoltz will be like, hey, by the way, can you please look at this footage? It'll tell us who's there.
Okay.
Cameras at Sage Park will clearly put up who and how they got onto the field, so it's very transparent.
Yeah.
If it's just a parent and child kicking a soccer ball, we're not
You
gonna
can
do
do a
it.
lot of.
But if it's a group, we can usually, I try to identify the group
You'll
or
see-
send you
you
two,
have to
which
rotate
clearly
wheels for the
went well
class.
last time.
We won't do that again.
We've learned from that.
Okay, I don't think anybody have an issue, I think you're gonna support that position, so.
Percival Field, Cole came out and did a survey. They were supposed to do a topo survey, they ended up doing it as built. So once the snow is completely melted, and everything is good to go, they're going to come back and do the survey they're supposed to do. And hopefully, information that's will be extremely beneficial for us.
How's it feel to?
I mean, we've had nothing really crazy go on there, you know, we have a few wet spots that have
US
continued to be wet
pitcher still has
spots.
to come back, but I mean, we're not even reaching out to them because it's covered in snow, so.
Ultimate doesn't really use the goal though, per se, right? They don't have a goal, you like, it's just so ultimate.
No,
So they can kind of go on, like, if they go on the one on the side of the high school and use that, because they don't really, they wouldn't touch the grow mats there, right? Because they're just throwing it in.
yeah, we haven't tried the grow mats at Soccer West, we only have at Sage Ox. It's just, I think that's been their normal place to practice. So when
Yeah.
they started practicing in last March, and we did notice that they practiced all March long, it's like football.
In the same location, there were noticeable wear spots all of a sudden. Because of the extra use on that field from Ultimate Frisbee. And we didn't even know they were practicing there until halfway through the season.
And that was supposed to be the staging area within the high school construction. So all maintenance stopped on Soccer West during the construction of the high school, which kind of added to the, it's like a layer of, just keeps getting worse.
So it's on the other side of the fence at Soccer West. That's all private property.
Right.
That's some of those trees to cut down. Some.
I agree. Feasibility study, do you wanna take that?
That is what Steve is going to PBC tonight. So Luke McCoy presented the feasibility study. He presented to you guys, the town council, with Steve and I there. The mayor is sending that to the Public Building Commission. I was able to talk to Mike Ahern the very next day and get on tonight's agenda. Luke is zoomed in right now. He just texted me, said we still have plenty of time. Steve is going up there to finish that meeting,
You're making
and
it sound like I'm going by myself.
I'm not going. I already told you that. So,
You want us to go with you? Right.
You guys.
so that's all being discussed tonight.
I just want to ask one more thing. Do you know how many days the ice skating ponds were open? Like how many days this year were they open versus like last year?
So this is the first
This
time in
year
like
is more.
3 years that we've had any, I wanna
This
say
year
we were
is
right
more.
around
9 days.
9 days. And we are the only town surrounding us that allows or offers skating at any of their ponds. It is,
Although Hubbard Park, they go
I was
on
just gonna say
all the
Hubbard.
time.
but they're not.
They're not supposed to.
No.
No, they're on all the
So we
time.
only allow it public at Paper Goods and Willard.
Paper Goods, Willard, Hubbard, and Sage.
Oh, Sage too.
Yep, and the only one that's not illuminated that doesn't have lights is Sage. But I mean,
You guys gotta go around and do test holes on all 4 of those.
correct. But nobody has any recollection of where the mysterious numbers came from of how much ice should be.
But I thought that's what you were posting on.
That's what we went to the DEP.
Yeah, I just posted on Facebook.
30 years.
But you think it was open like 9 days, and like the last 3 years, we haven't had any.
Exactly.
Did you guys clear Paper Goods?
We did it.
You did, because we were like, wow, maybe they plowed it.
We did.
Went
Yep.
out. It
We
was
took our
like,
little UTV out there. We had a great time. One of the guys made a video. He sat on a couple of milk crates like a sweeper. It was good.
There was a lot of people when we went, and it was, you know, it was
There is a lot.
constant. Awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Well, people have been dying for that.
I think changing the measurements from what we were told to what we're going to, I think is going to open up a lot. You know, we know the areas that we need to check and be aware of, because we've gone to salt makes a brine where the inlets come in from the storm drains. That area becomes very spongy, so that's where we check the ice. So we have to have at least 4 inches of ice in those areas before we open it. And when we go back to the day there was the skating shack at Paper Goods.
Yeah.
Paper Goods that has a drain there, so and then we have a rope we put up to sustain ice. We have different areas to try to deter people from going. But it was very positive.
Okay, any other questions?
Questions for Steve? I have a question on the pool, the sign for whatever it is, over at in East Berlin,
Tomorrow.
Demore Agenda. Yeah, so, so the Veterans Club or the Veterans
Yes.
was gonna ask the people if it was okay to move the main monument over to, anything happen with that?
As far as I know, they met with Dora Construction last week at Veterans Park. Dora Construction is going to pour a pad and a sidewalk for the monument that currently as an East Berlin pool, morphed into a bigger pool, will be moved to Veterans Park.
What's gonna happen with that little, by the tennis court on the lot?
We are going to redo the one that's by the tennis court. I think we're probably going to bring something back to you guys with change. To say,
Change the wording.
change the wording.
Complex or something.
Nothing, no updates on the splash pad?
I've already discussed that. You can watch the recording.
Tonight,
Okay,
based on what the town council wants, so hopefully we'll move it forward.
and
so.
nothing more on the community center?
Yeah.
So the last thing on the why, I would put aside the community senior center, is that sometime later in February, the mayor spoke about a month ago saying, by the end of February, we should have something that we're gonna come back to. They have one more meeting in February, next Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, and honestly, if they don't show, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Cruzen asks the mayor again.
No.
He's been the one that kept asking about the feasibility study until we came back. He's the one that keeps asking council communications about the why, so. I don't think I think he'll continue to ask until they are on the schedule.
Yeah, I would agree, you know, no one knows, but it does sound like the mayor's had discussions with the Y, not necessarily at the council meetings, but he went to, zoning, planning and zoning, because the Y was concerned about the lot. Perhaps in the high school, so we'll see whatever comes out, but if anybody sees it on the agenda, please let the commissioners know. I will do that, but if anybody else sees it, you know, just let people know so that,
Kate will most likely give me a heads up.
yeah, usually Jen has a heads up, so.
30 seconds. If you guys do run into any council members, please give them a thank you. They approved $207,000 to rebuild the playground. Not Friendship Place, but up top, which is huge. So we think it's 40 years old. So if you do see them, say thank you. They allowed us to use LoCIP money. So by hopefully September 1st of 2025, Willard will have a brand.
They
Almost
also
off
do,
and running in September.
It's our goal.
Hold them to it, Mark.
Yeah, hold you so.
Also, 30 seconds, new commissioners, you saw my email in response to Steve's email about not having conversations via emails on the whole commission, just because you guys are new, I just want to make sure you know. If you have questions, you can either direct them to me or Lucas as, he's the new chairperson, and then he can direct it, or we can talk about it at the meeting. But we can't ask questions of each other in emails and have back and forth conversations where we're all on, because then it legally becomes a public meeting and you have to have minutes and everything, so. Just making sure you guys as new commissioners know that.
That being said, I just want to say thank you very much, John, Steve, Debbie, Alan. You guys have been wonderful to work with. I know I can be a pain in the ass sometimes with my detailed questions, but you know, that's just the way I am. So that's, thanks for putting up with me, and thanks for everything that you've done. I also thank the commissioners, because you guys have been wonderful to help lead in all of the endeavors that we've had over a number of years. And if you look back, we've done an awful lot. And Steve, you just reminded us of another project that, you know, got approved. And it does take working not only with ourselves and our commission, it's good. More questions that the commissions ask of each other, the better we're prepared totally for the town council and board of finance. But it is very important to work with them as well. And I do thank them, believe it or not, Mark, I do thank you for all the time and effort and all the support that you've given us for all of our projects. And we look forward to our next splash pad project to be approved, so it can be implemented later this year. And we appreciate really all you guys. So thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for
It's been
being
a
chair for so
pleasure,
many
and
years.
I will be here.
She's still
but
gonna have the
just
question.
a little time.
I probably still will have an email when I get home from Don.
The other thing that the facilities did is that they, what, 675,000 for the 226 budget, free capital spending, or number for the lights at Sage. So-
Yes,
Yeah, that's capital.
that's, yeah. Facilities put into a retrofit and upgrade all the lights at Sage Park to LED.
Okay.
On a happy note, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Who's going with Steve?